Oh, I am so glad that you found your way back to the Yoga and Black podcast. But if you're new to the show, welcome. The show is all about sharing the stories of Black yoga and holistic wellness providers all around the world. And the goal is to bring more community awareness to the Black folks that not only practice yoga, but teach it too, to show our community that we too participate in these practices to help us heal and lead fuller lives. So, without me talking anymore, please, please, I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for listening. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Yoga in Black podcast. As always, you've got me, Tiffany, here with you. And this week, I am joined by Tiffany Ortiz out here in Brooklyn, New York. Another New Yorker here. I'm so excited to have a second. I think you're my second New York. No, hold on, maybe third. Oh, I can't remember. I have to go back in the archives. Either way, Tiffany has oh my goodness, help me remember the name of it. The Euphoria, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting.
Okay, Euphoria Yoga Studios.
Yes, thank you. She is a yoga instructor, studio owner, teacher, student, entrepreneur, all the multi-hyphenate things you can think of, because aren't we all? I mean, what don't we all do? Social media manager, all these things. The list goes on and on, but I don't want to ramble about you. I want you to ramble about you. So, Tiff, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, hi, how are ya? I'm Tiffany. I go by Tiff. Tiff. A lot of people ask me about Tiff, and they're a little bit confused about Tiff. And I just want to clear this up. First time even speaking about this story. My little brother named me that he couldn't pronounce the F's, so he used to always say it with the S. So it just kept on with the family. Just I started calling me Tiff. Call me Tiff is fine. So
I love this. No, it reminds me of myself growing up too. I could not say granny to save my life because everyone called our grandma granny up until I started, speaking, and I just couldn't say it. So I just kept saying Nana, and it stuck. Everybody calls her Nana now.
Nana. Me too.
I like it. I mean, it makes sense though.
It does. It's
It
cute.
makes absolute sense. Yes, I love that. How old's your brother now?
My brother is 13. He's 13
Oh,
soon. He is such a genius.
goodness, they grow up so fast, don't they?
They do.
Oh my goodness.
So young,
Ugh.
13 when I speak to him.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's jump into some things here. I would love to know more about. I always start off with this, but have you seen the movie? I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. What's the movie? Brown Sugar.
No,
And she asked, oh man, it's got Sanaa Lathan and Tay Diggs. And Sanaa plays a character who's a journalist, but she's specifically like a music journalist. Yeah, so she'll ask people, when did you fall in love with hip hop? So I'm always like, I think I'm gonna do that for this podcast because that's really what the gist of it is. Like, when did you fall in love with yoga? Start from the beginning and what that journey was like for you.
so I was first introduced to yoga in 2014 by my high school. We used to have like a Wednesday class. It was different activities. And then I just decided just to do yoga. And I was like, whoa, this is okay, like feeling this. We're upside down. This is cool. Um, what really grasped me was the fact that it was donation based. It was a donation
Mm.
studio, and I was a high school student, so I was like, I'm on that. So my first class, I went to it, and I did not like it at all.
Ain't that how it goes?
It really does. It really
Man.
does. It really does go that way. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Um, and then a couple of years later, something called me back to the studio again. Like life happened, and something was like I need to release, and I went back on my mat, and I guess I was a different person, mindset wise, body wise, and
Yeah.
it clicked for me. It clicked body wise, mindset wise. Like I felt good. I didn't. I guess I put my ego aside with the like
Mm,
I can't do this. This person is doing it better than I am, because that's how I was in the beginning. I'm like, whoa, I can't do it like this.
right.
And then in what made me get my certification was I was in downward facing dog, and this was my like I want to say my 10th 20th class already in, and I felt the internal shift. I
Mm.
literally felt like my organs shifting. Like I was like, whoa. And I dropped into child's pose and I started crying. I'm like, this is so powerful. Like
Yeah.
I got goosebumps telling I always
Me
get
too. I'm like, hold on a minute.
always get goosebumps telling the story because it was like just such a powerful moment for me. And that's when I went all in and I was like, I'm getting my certification. I want everyone to feel how I felt. Like, and it went on from there. That's when I fell in love.
Oh man. And it's you're not usually down dog that I hear people have that moment.
Right.
So man. Because most people are like down dog, oh, I'm giving up. I don't want to do this ever again. But oh, I love that you had that experience. Because
Yeah.
it's a common thread in a lot of our stories. My story is real similar. I was exposed to it in high school, a much longer time period ago, but but I didn't take it seriously. I didn't like it. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Had a few other experiences with it, still the same thing. And then I took one class where I don't know, throughout the whole thing, something just felt so different. And then by the time we get into that final Shavasana, I was weeping, like just straight boohoo sobbing, trying to contain it as much as possible in a
Literally.
classroom full of people. But thankfully they would have they put like a cold towel over our eyes, so I'm just like hold like making sure it was tucked in on the side so it could catch my tears from going into my ears. I'm like, oh my god. And at that point, I'm like, I gotta do this all the time.
Because it feels so good.
It does. And it's like you never realize how much you're holding back or holding in until you get into your body more and give yourself that time to not only process, but release that pent up stuff. Oh, so I'm really glad that you mentioned that because that's something a lot of folks need to hear. Because you did say something about your ego being a part of it, and that's huge. In a lot of the yogic teachings is to learn when your ego is appropriate to be in a situation, and it's not within the meat of your practice, like judging yourself against others or even judging yourself against yourself. Like, let that judgment stuff go and just be. And it frees you up from so much. So, oh,
It really,
that,
and
go ahead.
it trickles like what you do on the mat trickles into your everyday life without you even
Yes.
realizing. Like, whoa, like for me, for example, like patience, like
Mm,
really impatient like, with time and
yeah.
hey.
I am very impatient. I completely understand. I have been practicing at it for as long as I can. I even took up like handmade jewelry making to try to help me learn patience because it's like you painstakingly have to, string the beads on and do all this. And it's still a fun hobby for me. I do appreciate it when I need to have, focus time. But yoga taught me patience in a different way where it was a little bit more practical and not necessarily when I'm focused on one task, but just living life.
Right, right.
Oh man. And the lessons are just never ending. It's always something. So that's like when we were talking before recording, and you had mentioned that you like to be referred to as a teacher and a student. I'm like, absolutely, because we're always learning something. Always.
Always, always, every single day, every single day. Like even if it's not me teaching yoga, I'm learning something. Like so, I like to definitely always keep my hands open and Like I learned that from a mentor of mine. Like stay teachable.
Yes.
Even if you think you know something, there's something in there that you may not know.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Exactly.
keep
Ooh,
that.
girl, you spot on. You spot on. I love it. I love it. Okay. So then in that down dog moment where everything shifted and you're like, I need to learn everything about this and teach it, what was that journey into finding your YTT like?
So as soon as I got off down dog, I got out of down dog. I asked the teacher that was teaching me like, where can I even get this certification? She's like online, and I'm a type of person like I do things. I don't wait on it. Like I do things. Like we're gonna go. So I went. I looked it up. I saw that they were having is I got certified with yoga to the people in the
Okay.
fall. Yeah, and it was an experience. It was definitely was a good experience. I learned a lot. And then I got certified. I went to the 200, and then I'm like, I hit a block. I hit a block in my journey just because I got certified. And I'm like, whoa, this requires me to like get out of my comfort zone. This requires me to hold space for people. It
Mm.
requires me to like talk, and I
That part.
was like, I was so timid. I was so to myself. I stuttered a lot.
Still do.
Yes,
Still do.
literally do, but it's gotten so much better. My speech has gotten so much better, confidence. So I had to work on that. I had to work on that. I joined the network marketing business. It wasn't intentional for my yoga experience, but I realized that that helped me a lot with my how I show up in holding space and finding my voice. It literally
Yeah.
that because my throat chakra, I felt like it was blocked, and then I felt more confident to show up on the mat again and teach. And I got recertified with yoga.
Nice. So
I got
you did 200 hours?
as
Nice.
I had to. I'm like, no, I have to brush up on my skills. I need to do this again. Oh, during COVID with Yoga Vita,
Yeah.
yeah, virtually, and here I am now. I'm doing the building blocks, and um, I decided to open up Euphoria Yoga Studios just because during the my trans like during when I was showing up to different studios, I loved yoga. I really did, and I love what it had to offer.
Hmm.
One thing that I realized was that I wanted to see more of people that look like me, and
Same.
what I realized, like I was like, whoa, like so I had to do more research. I had to do more research. I wanted to be that vessel for my community, our
Hmm.
community. So
Yeah.
just wanted to that's what really sparked that. I'm like a lot of my community, a lot of people in my family, my friends are they have no idea about this. So I just wanted to like that's what I'm doing. Like
Yeah.
if they see me doing it and they see the benefits in me, they can do it as well.
Yes. Leading by example. I
Exactly.
love it. Yeah. Um, I share that same drive with you because there's something about walking into a yoga space that looks like every other space that you may walk in as a person of color in this particular country. And it just makes you feel like, dang, I still gotta put on as the acceptable minority in this space. And I can't feel like I'm authentically myself, even in this very deeply personal practice. And finding spaces where there's more of us feels so much more
It
relaxing.
does. It really, I wasn't tapped in. Like I just went into it because I liked how I felt. And then as I got deeper and deeper and deeper, I would get up from Shavasana and I would look around and I'm like, this is, I need to see more. I want a different environment. So I started
Right.
doing that. And then I started practicing at other studios, and I'm like, wow, like the energy is different. I didn't think that that was a thing, and it is.
Yeah.
All of that matters.
Yeah. Big time.
All of that matters. It does.
Yeah. Cause like, do you, in those more wider spaces, do you ever feel like the yoga feels more performative
Yeah,
than spiritual, I guess?
I feel like it's more rehearsed,
Yeah.
more for exercise, which nothing wrong with that because that's how I was first. That's how I got into.
Same. Yeah.
That's I listen. I was like, listen, I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm not trying to go to. But I just didn't feel any connection. You know, it was not. It was. I'm still trying to understand. You know, like
Yeah.
still brand new into this journey, and still finding my studios that work for me and my community, and you know, so um, I realized that the connection was there when I started putting myself in other studios because I started at what studio was it? Yoga to the People, and then it was Core Power Yoga.
Okay. Yeah. Core power is everywhere.
Yeah, Core Power is everywhere. They took over.
Man, like you can't go anywhere without somebody knowing exactly what you mean when you say core power. And
Yeah,
I've never even actually taken a class there, but I know exactly who they are.
yeah.
It's wild.
It's definitely like very hip hoppy. I mean, very fitnessy, which nothing.
Yeah.
But I just didn't resonate.
Yeah. It's for a specific, if you're looking for that specific type of practice, it's good for that. But if that's not what you're looking for, that's not the place for you to go.
Right.
If you are looking for yoga on a more like you said, a connected route, from what I've heard, that's not necessarily the place to go. But again, I'm just speaking of the things that I've heard from other people that have either worked there or practiced there, and I'm like, if that's the general consensus, I can't do nothing but believe you. Like, that many people are saying it more than once, then that makes sense. So I'm loving this path that you were on and are still on. And once you found those spaces, what of this experience started inspiring you to create Euphoria?
So I Euphoria was already like basically created before I found the spaces. The spaces just showed that I can do it. Like it showed like wow, this is really a thing because I didn't know it was a thing until I had to do my research.
Ooh, I like the way you said that. Yes.
Um, so basically, what inspired me was like what basically like, got me going was the fact that I wanted my friends used to be like, "You doing yoga? That's for white, that's for white people. This white girl."
Why they always go that route? It's like, why can't I just enjoy something? Dang.
No,
Why we gotta do that?
so a lot of people now have been practicing yoga for a good amount of years now are now
See,
practicing.
because they knew what was up. They knew what was up.
I, so I started like, okay, like how can I make this um more, I guess, like cultural. That's what I
Yeah.
basically like. My playlists are Spanish, Afro beats. You know what I mean? Sometimes depends on what the person wants to listen to. Um,
Yeah.
I'm very focused on alignment. Like that's what I really focus on alignment because I feel like that's really important. So that's what I have to offer as well. Like that, and I'm still learning. Like I'm still learning the foundations. You know, I'm
Yeah.
still learning the foundation of things. At first, I was so like hard on myself, and I had to like I learned patience. Learned
It's
like
always gonna come back to that. Always.
literally, I learned how to just like take it step by step. You're learning. I'm learning. I'm learning from um, one of a person. She just one of my friends. because I basically like I'm helping her.
Yeah.
A colleague, she just opened up the studio. Her studio is called the Brooklyn Wellness Club, um,
Nice.
and she's basically doing the same thing. So I'm learning a lot from her um, on what to do and how to show up. And so I'm still learning so much. Like
Never ending process. Never
exactly,
ends. Ah,
exactly.
that's exciting though, because it does take a lot to run, open, curate a space. Like even like stepping into someone else's studio and holding space is a lot. But
It is.
then creating the space that allows people to hold space, whoo.
It is a
So
lot.
I give a big round of applause to anybody that is opening a door to anyone that with a physical space for people to practice, because that is a big undertaking. Um
It
because
is.
we had a in such a short amount of time before we started recording, we had some really impactful things that we were talking about.
We did.
Because we talked about some entrepreneurship stuff, and I want to pick your brain more about that stuff too, because something I had mentioned is that something that we aren't always taught during the 200-hour is that the second you finish that training, more than likely you have now become an entrepreneur. And a lot of these lessons that you're now learning aren't necessarily taught in the onset. So I'm wondering, in your opinion, what would be some of the things that you wish you knew, or that you knew now that you wish you had gotten in your 200-hour?
That's a great question. That is a question. Um, One thing that I really wish, I know now that I wish, you're not gonna know everything. Everything is not gonna click.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything is not gonna click. Like you learn each time you teach, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to teach. You have
Yeah.
to teach. Like I used to hear people say that, like just teach, just teach. You have to just teach. Trying to think what else. Because
It's so
so
much.
much. There is like so much. Um, Basically, how to show up, like how to show up for somebody.
Yeah.
Like okay, now you're a teacher. You have your 200 hour. How are you going to continue to? How are you showing up for yourself to make sure that you're showing
Mm.
up for your clients?
Yeah, because that's bigger than you showing up for other people. Is how are you showing up for yourself so you can?
Exactly.
Mm.
Another thing that just came into mind, don't stop your practice. We get so caught up in like teaching, you stop your practice, and then you stop teaching, you stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
I had to,
Yes.
yes, I had to learn that.
It's a big lesson in your own dedication to your own practice.
Hmm.
Cause and it really, for me and my own experience, I always knew that my want for teaching was deeper than just some like surface level satisfaction thing, or
Hmm.
just it was a cool thing to do. I knew I had a specific purpose behind it. um but the places that I was teaching and the things that I were teaching weren't necessarily feeding that. And I lost so much of my inspiration in my own practice that I let a lot of my own stuff suffer. And it showed in my classes, even though they were classes I didn't necessarily want to be teaching. I still wanted to put my best foot forward, because that's me. That's my product that I'm putting out there, and I want to be able to hold proper space for people. But if I'm not even, doing my practice the way that I need to for me, how am I able to teach it to anybody else?
Yep.
And that was probably one of the hardest things that I had to overcome over the last few years, because there was a whole bunch of other bullshit going on with the studio space I was teaching at that was affecting that also. But once I realized, T, you lost your practice. You got to get that back.
Yep.
And whatever it looks like, it doesn't have to be asana, but you have to have some type of sadhana every day, or some type of schedule that makes more sense for you than just nothing, because this is getting you nowhere. And I hate for anybody else to learn that lesson in that same way, because it is a rough one to experience. So anybody listening right now, if you have not taken YTT, or have already and been teaching for a while and start feeling yourself slipping out of your practice, find space, whether it's your own home, a studio, another teacher that you can reach out to for private instruction. I don't know. I don't care what it is. Find what works for you so that you can get that consistent practice in, because it keeps you sharpened.
It does. Even if
Yeah.
it's like 10 minutes. Like,
Yes.
even if it's for 10 minutes. Like, at least you showed up. That's really where the magic happens.
Exactly. That is the key, is showing up for yourself, because how can you show up for anybody else if you are completely vacated from yourself? Whoo, girl. I am loving this conversation so much. I'm still stuck on this entrepreneur thing, because you made mention of something about the 200 hour, and I have always felt that it's not enough. And I've always, I haven't done the research to see what originated the whole 200 hour 300 hour thing, but the the inaccessibility of these trainings, first of all, pisses me off. Like, why are you so expensive? um why are so many of these studios out here teaching this stuff, but you can get so many different things from so many different places, yet the Yoga Alliance has standardized these things?
Yeah.
Big air quotes on that. I got beef with I'm just gonna say it. I got personal beef with them, because it's just like, what do y'all do? What do y'all do?
Yeah, that's
But
actually, she was like, "What's the Yoga Alliance?" Go in.
I won't even get started, but I mean, it's a good topic to talk about. But I'm gonna just, yeah, no, for the sake of just keeping everything very PC, I'm just gonna say I have my disagreements with the way that they do things. But if you're going to, and this is just in any studio, like if you're gonna offer a 200 hour, you should be able to make it so that anybody can join in if they want to. um, Whether it's scholarship programs or just figuring out the actual cost for this thing. Because if you're teaching something where someone leaves feeling unfulfilled and like they got to do it again, you ain't hitting the spot. You
Yeah.
ain't hitting the spot.
I,
So,
I felt really, my first one, it was good. It was a great experience because it's something I never experienced, but I felt like it was a lot of information
mm-hmm.
in such a short time, and it was not broken down. Like,
Yes.
it was not broken.
Yeah, because that's another issue I have, because that expectation that a lot of people come with is like, okay, I did my 200 hour, I'm ready to teach. No, you are not. I'm just going to say it, like, there's some of y'all might be, but
Yeah,
the majority of us, not even close. Because how can you fit centuries of information into 200 hours, including practicum and all this stuff? It's like, it's too much to learn in such a short amount of time. And yes, the 300 hour exists, but that's even more expensive than the 200 hour and more time than the 200 hours. So how are you making this available to people in marginalized communities, or just during times like this where all of us are struggling because bread costs $5 a loaf? Like, or hell, it's probably more than that, because I shop it all day. I'm over here like, I'm wondering what your perspective is on all of that. What do you think are some ways that we could combat this going into the future?
definitely, because that's something that I, again, am working on. That's, I thought about myself when I first graduated. And
Mm,
I that's what EYS is standing for too. It's not only for students, it's for teachers too. Like, so I feel like
yes.
going into the future, a, a, a studio that supports teachers, like after the 200 hour, being specific, you know,
Yeah.
maybe specific, and then after mentorship. I know some studios offer that, but it's paid. So I feel like after
Yeah.
mentorship, you know what I mean, to support them while they're like, and them being able to still teach and
Mm-hmm.
sharpen their stuff. So there's ways to support somebody during this, during the 200 hour.
Yeah.
I just feel like condensing it, you know, like, because it's like you're learning like the backgrounds, then I'm learning sequencing, and then I'm learning like, so I'm jumping from one thing to the next.
Right.
I feel like it should be specific, like, because each day was different, but like take it piece by piece, and then I'm
Right.
or teach privately, and then like do it like that instead of 200 hours in 2 weekends or a month, and then I'm certified, and you know.
Right.
So I feel
Oh,
like mentorship is definitely key.
yes.
Mentorship.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up because I have been seeing an uptick of mentorship programs in the last, I want to say at least 3, 4 years. And it's grown out of the need for folks when they come out of that 200 hour feeling like, okay, I got my 200 hour. Now what? Shoulders up to your ears because I don't know. And having that mentorship is extremely important because and I talked about this in another episode too, but just thinking back to the way that yoga used to be taught and passed down was by finding a mentor and learning from them until you were ready to pass the information along to somebody else. And that tradition should still stand, especially if you're, learning the Indian tradition of, the practice is learn it from someone that has been or embodying the practice for their life and understanding the philosophies, the ways, the everything, and then getting to a point where you understand it so much for yourself that it just feels natural to be able to explain it to somebody else. And
Right.
yeah, a couple of
That
weekends, that's not cutting it.
is not.
That's not
It's
cutting it at all.
not. I just started feeling confident in teaching and like showing up, and because I used to get nervous every time I taught. And sometimes I
Mhm.
still feel a little like giddy, but it's not like how it was before, you know,
Yeah.
because it time passed. Time definitely passed. I considered certain people mentors. Like I just seek mentorship on my own. Like I would take people's classes, I would take notes or
Yeah.
questions. I'm like, hey, or I go to studios. Like that was my way of seeking the mentorship. But there was never,
Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
yeah. And I love that you did that because it's important to be able to get other people's perspectives and learn anything that you can from them because even if you don't want to just have one specific mentor, you can learn so much from so many people all the
you know,
time. Like I love taking other people's classes because like hearing the different ways that they'll explain something and I'm like,
like
hold on a minute.
whoa, yeah,
I might just go ahead and stuff that into my little pocket and save that for another class that I'm about to teach because I liked that. That was great. Keep going. I'm definitely borrowing.
literally
It's my favorite thing.
me too. I found a great way to get a supine spinal twist. A brilliant idea, and I was like, whoa,
Well,
getting
now
them.
you got to share it.
Basically,
Yep.
I realized when you like do inhale, reach your knees in towards the chest, exhale, shift your knees towards the opposite way. Sometimes people like still shimmy themselves and they're trying to get comfortable. So I'm like, I went to somebody's class and she said start in bridge pose. Lift your hip if you're going to if you're putting your knees towards the right side. You then lift your hips up, shift your waist to the right side, and then turn your knees the opposite way.
Getting them that perfect hip placement so they're able to rotate with
Yeah,
aha.
like focus on is the shoulders. I'm like, whoa, I'm
Yeah. Ooh, that's another one I always see folks doing, especially in like a supine spinal twist. I'm sorry, a reclined spinal twist. Is that shoulder lifting so they can roll? I'm like, hold on, keep them there. That's a clever way to keep the shoulders grounded and still get the hips in place without compromising the spine. See, and that's another piece of the training that isn't always focused on is the
yeah,
anatomy. Like if you're gonna teach, something that's so, physical focused, you got to make sure people understand people's bodies. I
yep.
love this. Who did you learn this from?
Right. I'm here sitting there, and I'm like, what's her name so I can shout her out and give her some credit. Oh my God, I went with my friend. She works at Kala Yoga, but I forgot her name. Oh my God, it's horrible.
Well, shout out to you
Shout
because
out.
yes, I'm sorry that we don't have your name to give you that shout out, but shout out to you. You likely know who you are because
Right.
this is an amazing, amazing adjustment, like a self adjustment into it. Like I love giving people the opportunity to self adjust. I don't know. How are you about hands on assist? Are you okay with like hands on assist?
So hands-on assist, like I like it, I really do, but then I don't kind of. So I'm still learning how to like touch people's bodies and not doing
Right.
touches. But I
Yeah.
see when people do it themselves, like when they click on their own instead of me touching them. Like I don't
Yes.
know, like it's just something for me. Like, ooh,
It
I like,
makes me feel so good about the fact that they are tapping into themselves and
mhm.
communicating with themselves to the point where they're like, yep, body said no, do this, or body says yes, do this. And like just finding that discovery of themselves through themselves. Oh, it's my favorite
Me
thing.
too.
So that's why I'm like, as soon as you started talking about this cue, I'm like, yes, give me more things to help people discover this for themselves. Because I will admit, I'm not, I don't like to touch. I appreciate what it can do for people, and I will offer it on occasion. But it's one of those where I have to be,
Yeah, in the
I have to be in the
mood.
right space for it. Yes, because I don't necessarily want to project my energy of I don't really want to be touching you onto the person. They're gonna feel that, so I'll stay back. But I love those opportunities to just give specific cues that allow them to explore for themselves rather than requiring assistance from a teacher. Because I don't want it to feel like a correction. I want it to feel like an enhancement.
Mm,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. I
Oh
like.
yeah. I'm over here just buzzing now because now I'm like, ooh, do they have virtual classes at what you said it was Chala Yoga?
Kala Yoga.
Okay. Spell that for, or you know what? We'll talk about that afterwards. It's like, I wonder if they have virtual classes.
Yeah.
We can try to
Keep
tap
that.
into one. What was I gonna ask you next? It was about your yoga studio. So yes, I've been getting into the habit of asking folks this too, because I also want people to get to know what the experience is like if they were to take your class or enter your space. What would it be like if I were walking in for the first time, and what type of experience would I have?
So, the experience you would have is more of a inner world, inner feeling. Like when I come in and how I teach, I I like to start with giving people an option to start in shavasana or child's pose or standing up, however they want to start. Like sometimes I don't want to go into child's pose, you know. So I always like to remind students that I'm just here to hold space. That's all I'm here to do, and make sure that you don't get hurt. You know, but everything is up to you. Like I always remind students that the props are there to deepen your practice, not to correct your practice or
Ooh.
make you feel weak or anything like that, I always say that in the beginning of before teaching and where to place the blocks. I always remind students like about their breath. That's so important, their breath, and just tuning into tapping into the inside. That's I noticed my teaching style because I was still learning my teaching style, and I realized like I like to hold space for people and remind them of their power because I shifting
Mm.
into the student seat and going into the teacher seat, I noticed the shift, and I
Yeah.
noticed that a lot of people were used to like hey using me as a clutch. So I demo a little bit, I demo less, and I'm here to guide you, save, and hold your space basically. So
Yes.
when I remind people of that, because I notice people need that reminder, I don't know. There's a shift in the room that they start doing their own thing. And I always like to
Hmm.
remind them, like, if I'm telling you go into pigeon's pose, for example, and your body is telling you, hey, I wanna go into half split, do it. Don't feel like just because I said to go into pigeon pose, you need to go into that pose or stay into it. This is your
Yes.
so that's basically like how I do it in
Oh,
my
I
mind.
love this. No, I love this. Like it sounds like a very freeing experience where,
Yes.
but also like supported in discovery. I love that. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Damn, I wish I was in New York. Oh, goodness. You brought up something that made my mind just buzz because it's something that has come up in a few other episodes this season, but I haven't really fully talked about it much. And it's finding your teaching style. What helped you find yours?
Teaching all the time. What really like got me out there was the Paris, the person that I'm now working closely with. She asked me, she's like, "What's your teaching style?" And I'm like, "What is my teaching style?"
Put me on the spot, dang.
I'm just out here just teaching. I'm like, I really don't know. So I started to be, I guess, more present in teaching, and really realizing what I say all the time, what feels authentic to me, what what I just basically like say at the top of my head. So I started to realize a certain pattern um, in my teaching style. So I guess being present, and being intentional on what it is that I want to say and what feels good to me and the students, of course.
Yes. That's so important too, because tying it back into the 200 hour, so often we'll come out of that training mimicking who we learned from or somebody that we admire as an instructor and just kind of sound or and teach like a carbon copy of them, because it's comfortable, because we're not necessarily I'm saying I'm generalizing for most of us because it's a common thing that happens is that we don't always feel confident in what it is that we just learned and spent
Yep.
all this time and money on. So we'll latch on to the style of whoever we've taught or learned from the most. But once you find your voice, not saying that it has to be a specific voice, but just your authentic self present in your teaching, whoo, it changes the game.
It does. It
And it changes like the experience for you because you get to learn so much, even though you're in the teacher position.
it
Do
really
you get that
does.
same feeling?
Yeah, it definitely does change a lot. Like I feel like I'm a lot more confident just because I know what I have to offer. I know what it is
Yes.
table. So if you're out there, you feel like, hey, what it is that I have to bring to the table. It's the same thing like life. Like you have to see what it is, like what you're good at, or what it is that you like. Not even what it is, but what feels good to you.
Right.
I don't want to say like what you're good at because
You can
like
be good at everything and then absolutely hate it when you're doing it, but you're good at it. but how you
What feels
feel
good.
about it, yeah, that's
Yeah.
different.
And what you want to show the world and what yoga basically like feels for you. That's basically
Yes.
just to do it, like how it feels for me and what I notice the patterns. Because I don't know about you, but I notice patterns in people, like
Oh yeah.
in in their body or their like how they react to things. So that helps me teach, like
Mm-hmm.
in like the general collective and some
Yes.
and all of that. So I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. Boom, boom, boom. I know what to do.
1,000%. 1,000%. I know I love picking up on people's patterns when they start coming to classes, regularly enough to a point where it's like, I saw you do that thing once before and you're doing it again. Okay. Or just like understanding their general energy and what it is that they're usually craving or looking for. It's like, okay, I know how I can show up and be present for you in this moment, which helps me understand how or what type of teacher I need to be for you
Right.
specifically. Can be one of the challenges of group classes because there's so many different bodies and personalities and energies and intentions in the room. But once you start building that familiarity with them, it makes you feel that much more confident and comfortable because you know what to provide them to be able
Right.
to give them the experience that they need. And of course, you're not going to hit the mark for everybody, but at least you started to build that rapport, that camaraderie, that trust with them, and then that confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, it changes the
That's
game so much.
like a shift
Ooh,
in you.
yes. Yeah, because I remember starting out, it was nerve wracking because I was doing like some on the side private things for like some friends virtually, and I didn't start teaching at a yoga studio until maybe about a year or two. I can't remember how long. No, it might have just been year and a half ish after taking my YTT. um and I was nervous as hell. And not to mention, I was following the owner of the studio, who is a well known instructor around the area and well respected. And the people came for this instructor. And when the class time was given to me, I'm like, shit, I got these big ass shoes to fill, and I am nothing like that. And it made me so nervous and so uncomfortable that I wasn't teaching in my own authentic way and was trying to do my best to kind of like do a mix of the two so I could appease the folks that were, still just coming to the time slot because it was convenient, but were missing their old instructor. And I'm like, I'm not your old instructor. I'm sorry. But once I learned how to how I needed to show up, my classes changed so
Yeah.
much. I felt so much more comfortable being in front of the room. I It did have to take me not teaching in that space anymore because it was always going to be a bit of a shadow, but I learned so much during that time cuz there was just a wealth of information coming from this teacher, so much information, and I'm beyond grateful for that time. But it was hard to teach after somebody like that because it's such a big role to follow up, but it really made me see that need to just find my own confidence because I didn't have it at first, and it showed.
From that. And that made the show in the beginning.
Yeah, it
But
showed, and I'm like, I'm doing the best I can. I
that,
think I need more time.
some people like I definitely took some. I went like some people in the 200 hours. Some people just got it, and that's why I'm like, okay, you're right.
No, like I might be able to fake it real well, but by the time we're done with class, I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom because I have to pee because I'm so anxious right now.
Bro.
Like I've been holding this anxiety pee for this entire hour. Like, thank you for coming. Have a great day. Goodbye. Pew! Sweating buckets, not because of demonstrating, but just because of pure nerves the entire time. And it still happens sometimes, not the peeing, but the sweat.
That's correct. Yeah.
I will just get so hot and flustered, especially if it's a new setting. That's what usually gets me now is if I'm teaching somewhere new to a new group, some new people, and like it's all at once. Like it'd be different if it was like I've been teaching at this spot for a little minute, or at least kind of comfortable with it. But a new person walks in. That's a completely different scenario when you're plucking yourself out of your comfort place or whatever it was into a new one. That's what usually gets me back into that space of I don't have my confidence anymore. But it comes, and it's part of refinding your voice again. It's a constant cycle. I don't know, I guess that's just the thing about yoga is you're constantly going through this phase of I got it, I don't got it, I got it, I don't got it, I've relearned how to get it again, and now I've lost it again.
It is life. Life. That's life. That's life.
It's true, but yoga is so much about life. Like it is a life practice. Like you wouldn't believe. It teaches you basically how to be human.
It does. It really does. It does. And I
Yeah.
much like just because like when you're on the mat, there's like different layers. Like when I forgot what it's called. I had to brush up on my like my history of yoga. But like when you have different feeds.
Oh yeah, the koshas.
Yes, there you go. The coaches, basically, like you as a beginner when you first show up on the mat, you're not thinking about that. Like, of course, you're not. Even if you don't have like your 200 hour, you're thinking about how the to baby basically warrior two, for example, how
Mhm.
it feels. It hurts. Your arms hurt. I'm hot. Like there's so much you're thinking about until that layer sheds off, and then you're like coming from the outside, and it's so cool. It's so,
I
it's so
think we have similar teaching styles because as soon as you mentioned that, I'm like, oh, of course the coaches. That's the same thing I do, like from the beginning. Like I'll get them into a pose that's comfortable enough for them to breathe in, and I'm like, all right, we're shedding these layers, getting
yeah,
deep in there from the beginning, so that way you can have this experience as best as you can from the start, rather than trying to strip it off while you're going. Like, nope,
right.
shed that shit now, tap into all of them and then keep it going. Oh yeah, I think we have that in common.
Yes, I
Hmm.
you do virtual classes. I took them to
I don't right now. I wish I
well,
did.
when
One of these, I keep wrestling with the idea of like when it would work because my work schedule is a little weird. I get off at 6:30, so maybe like I could do something at like 7:30 something, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's too late for folks. It's weird. I don't know. Scheduling's a hard thing.
it is, it definitely is. When you find those like dedicated ones, people will show up. It
True.
don't matter about the time.
True that. Yes. I know, because that's where part of me is like, I could at least like set up the live stream, have it recording, and then post it to my YouTube or something at some point. And just, if you want to you practice along, go ahead. It's there for YouTube. Grow my channel, please. But no, I've been brainstorming how to get classes going again for this because I did at one point when it was DFW based. But now that I've branched out a little bit more, I'm like, okay, how can I still make this work? So I'm still plotting, and plus I got a lot of personal stuff going on. So like once I get a whole bunch of stuff settled down, virtual classes will be coming. You want to teach some?
Of course. Girl, I'd love to teach
Yes, 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 yes. I don't know. I didn't mean to put it on the spot, but I love this. Yes. Because I'm definitely going to be asking everybody, like, who wants to teach? Sign up here, sign up here, sign up here. So, yeah, listeners, you're getting a sneak peek here. I haven't actually talked about that to anybody. So, congratulations. You're getting a behind the curtain look. Wait a minute. How have we already been talking for this long? I just looked at the time. I didn't even I do this every freaking time. My concept of time is just I'm blind to it. I got no idea. And then I'll look and be like, "Oh shit."
Oh, it's 9:30. I didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we have some time to ask the age-old question that gets asked to everybody. And I mean, every episode has been so chock full of just amazing tidbits of info that can be super helpful to people. But I always want to make sure that I get you the opportunity to just round it out one more time. But what advice would you give to somebody that's looking to embark on a new yoga practice, never practiced it before, and they want to do
Let me think,
it?
because that's a good question. Give yourself grace.
Mm.
Like, give yourself grace. Show up like on the mat, have that beginner's mindset, and try to stay present on the mat. Try to take in what's in front of you, and just give yourself that grace. So
Yes.
take it in, take it all in.
That is of utmost importance because we can be so hard on
We
ourselves.
can, we can. Sometimes you show up on the mat and you don't wanna. You hold those tears in. Let those tears go. Some days you may feel angry. Let that anger go. Some days you may feel happy. Feel that joy and happiness.
Yes.
So just every day is a different experience. To just give yourself that grace to just be
Oh,
and
I can't wait to take one
leave
of
the
your
phone in
classes.
the locker room.
Yes. I really cannot wait to take one of your classes. Yes. So, part two of that question is same type of question, but instead of somebody that's looking to start a practice, but someone who wants to teach, what advice would you give to them?
Just teach. Like just go do it. Do it. If you have to start with uh, a friend, a colleague, anyone, just do it. And don't expect for you to know it all that one class. If you mess up, it's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Just learn how to make sense of sequencing. You know, like, and I've been teaching for like 2.5 years now consistently. So just do it and have fun. Have fun. It's really fun to hold space. It's
It
so fun to
is.
connect with different people and see it. So definitely have fun.
Yes. Thank you for adding the fun part.
Oh
Because, man, the way that some folks will take it so seriously, and
no,
I'm not saying it's
I
not,
love
but
it.
have some, like, fun is serious too. Have some serious fun. Like,
I don't I don't like I don't say that I'm going to work. I don't this is not work for me. And that's why I love it so much. So see if you
exactly.
see if you even like that. See too. Like see if you even like teaching. How it makes you feel at the ending of it.
Whew.
That's important. If it uplifts you or if it takes from you.
You ain't saying nothing but a word. And it
It
comes in waves. It comes in waves
does.
because you might be like, I am getting all the fulfillment, all the joy, all the everything from teaching. And then 2 months later, it is draining you. Take a break. Take that break. It's okay.
It's okay.
Teaching's not for you in that season. I'm in that season right now. I'm down to one class a week and it's a fitness class. Like I haven't even taught yoga for months and I needed that break and I'm happy with that. This is exactly where I need to be. Yes. So, oof. Y'all give such good advice. Maybe we should start a mentorship program.
Yes, I literally
You should do
that's
that.
so passionate about it. And like if I were to speak to myself when I was young, like not younger, you hear me? When I was back then, that I would tell myself so much because I was so freaked out. I
Yeah.
wouldn't show up to my apprenticeships because I was so scared, and I
Yeah.
felt like I had to know it all. Like no. So, girl, whatever you cooking up, yeah,
You know I'm gonna be in your ear. I'm gonna just send out that spam email like, "Hey, everybody." No, that actually is a really. I might have to look into that a little bit more because that's a it's needed.
it is.
We definitely brought up a lot of great points as to why those are effective. So yeah, who knows? YIB mentorship may be coming soon. Oh my goodness, Tiff, this has been so much fun, and I am sad that our time is at its end. Do you have anything that you're wanting to plug right now besides your amazing, fabulous studio?
That I wanted to plug,
Yeah.
like say on, like
Yeah,
basically.
like anything you got going on that you want to tell the folks
Oh
about?
yeah, I right now I'm doing kids yoga. Doing it at a school, so I'm doing there. I'm cooking that up. I'm getting certified. Actually, starting next week. I'm so excited.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm working with the kiddos. I was like, it's about time to get certified. I'm tired of winging it. Because they were doing pretty well with me winging it. And I'm like, hey, I need to get certified. So that's up next, officially getting certified. Um,
Nice.
yeah, just be in the lookout for things happening because I'm taking it step by step. Everybody's asking me about group classes and stuff and privates and all of that, and things are in the works. Just
Hell
not.
yeah. Hell yeah. Well, y'all know what to do. Hit her up. What are your socials again?
Right now, it's this Euphoria Yoga Studios, and I actually changed my username. It's Flow with Tiff.
Yes. I love that. Yes.
With one.
Oh, this has been magical. I can't thank you enough for being here, and I truly, truly appreciate your time. Um, for those listening, please go follow all of Tiff's stuff. If you're in the Brooklyn area, please go check her out. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Next episode is the season finale, so be sure to tune in. But I will see y'all in the next one. Thank y'all so much for listening. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Yoga in Black podcast. What did you think of this episode? Leave us a comment or a rating on whichever platform you're listening or watching from today, right after you subscribe. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram at yoga.inblack, Facebook yoga.inblack, and TikTok yoga.in.black. Also, head to www.yogainblack.net for all your YIB needs. Next episode, I'll connect with Emma Kelly for our season finale. New episodes air every Tuesday. And if you'd like to be on the show, fill out our waitlist form on the website. Be sure to click on Let's Talk from the menu. I can't thank you enough for all of your support. Really, this could not be done without you. Thanks for listening.